show, which I'm very excited to be joined by the Goldilocks gamer himself, Mr. J.
Thank you. I was thinking about what to call. I actually had a thought of what we might call you.
Go on.
I'm trying to remember what it was now. I think it was Nick. We've got a lot to talk about, and then whatever. I feel
Nick, we've got a lot to talk about Burton.
You always say we've got a lot to talk like this week. We've got a lot to talk about this week.
We've always got a lot to talk about.
I know, but it's funny that you say it every time.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's funny. I edit the podcast and I haven't even noticed I do that. Like I imagine that every time I hear it, I'm like, oh no, I probably didn't say that last week.
Yeah, exactly.
But I obviously do. Yeah. So Jay, we're recording a day early to typical schedule. Obviously, last week we did a day late because of the PS5 conference. I suggested we do a day early, so we do it before I get The Last of Us Part 2. Oh my God. And I also thought that there's been a fair amount of news already in this week, and I want to edit it before The Last of Us Part 2 comes. And I just felt like it was a good time. I don't know about you, Jay, but like without sounding like I'm trying to feel sorry for myself, I'm starting to feel the effects of what's going on at the moment, and starting to get a little bit pitying myself and feeling sad. And
what do you feel like guilty almost?
No. Just I feel that I can be a lot better as a person right now, and I'm not fulfilling that.
Oh God, I feel like that every day, even when I am working. You can.
Well, I do think it's a daily struggle for everyone. I guess I'm just saying that staying inside all this time, it's starting to have a toll on me. I guess that's how I think, or that's what I'm feeling at the moment. Sure. I know that other people have obviously got it worse. I'm just letting everyone know how, I feel like...
You can't compare suffering, Nick. You really can't. Everyone suffers.
It's true.
You can't compare suffering.
You're right. I guess I'm just trying to say that I feel at the moment, like the last couple of days, I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I could really do with a bit of schedule now, a bit of routine now. I feel like it's.
I've got a routine.
Go on.
I get up at 9. I check my social media, my YouTube, and then I usually have a shower at 10.
Okay, stop you there. I'm going to stop you there. Checking the social media, is that a bit like checking the news? Do you feel a bit bad after that? Like you can see what everyone's done in their time, etc.
Weirdly, I don't actually check Twitter or Facebook. I usually just check YouTube and Instagram, I'd say.
Okay.
Just to sort of I don't know. I never used to do that. I've only actually started doing that. Funny. I only used to start doing that. I've actually only started doing that since I've been off work. I don't have enough time in the morning to be able to do that. I get up and 15 minutes later I've got to be out of the house.
Sure. Do you get up last minute then?
Yeah, with I've actually calculated it over the years or whatever, right? I've sort of timed myself to see how long it takes me to get ready, and it's usually 25, 30 minutes, but I can do quicker if I rush, if I get up late.
Do you don't want to get up earlier and have a long shower and take your time and have breakfast and stuff? You'd rather just get up and go?
No, I feel more productive that way if I'm just straight up and out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
also think if I get too comfy, I don't want to leave then.
Yeah, fair play. And also, you can stay up. You can stay up later, right? You can stay up later.
I guess so. Yeah, that's part of it. Whether it be intentional or not, I don't know.
Well, Jake, we've got a lot to talk about this week.
See, I told you.
I'm joshing with you, man. I did it on purpose. Come on.
If I hadn't said anything, you would have said it at that exact moment. And we probably would have. We both know that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about everything to do with gaming, game opinions. Me and Jay got a lot of stuff to break down.
It's pretty much just our therapy session of, by the way, we like talking about games.
Oh, Jay, that's a great point. Let's put that in the weekly rigmarole. This is a gaming therapy podcast.
Because for so long, I've felt like I haven't really had anyone to talk to about games necessarily, but to the extent that I want to.
Yeah.
Like if I had to I'd feel guilty if I came to someone and said, look, I want to talk to you about for the next hour and a half, 2 hours. They'd be like, nah, I've got stuff to do. Whereas with you, we've actually we're killing two birds with one stone here. We're doing a podcast and we're fulfilling our need to chat about games for a bit.
Exactly. If we didn't record it, we'd be doing it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Time goes by so quick when we do this too.
It is a bit silly, isn't it? Really.
You don't realise how much fun you're having until 2 or
It's
3
like,
hours is that?
3.5 hours on the Odyssey. Oh dear.
Exactly.
So I just want to get right into it, Jay. We're
Yeah,
trying
go
to
for
we're
it.
trying to be concise this week because we want to be. All right, we
Yeah.
don't get bullied and pushed around.
All
We
right.
want to be concise,
Yeah.
not anyone else. Jay's dad definitely didn't mention anything about. No, I'm joking, Mark. I'm joking.
Wow.
No,
Wow.
no. We just want to be concise because a special announcement. We're going to do a whole bonus episode special. I'm going to call it a TGO show special on The Last of Us Part 2. So
Yeah.
when I finish the game, Jay's not going to play it.
I'm not, but I
He's
am probably going to watch a playthrough just so I know what's happened.
sure.
And I
Well,
might
you've
even
probably
read up
seen the
on the
spoilers.
story. To be honest, I probably know a lot more than you do anyway at this
Oh,
point.
Jay, I can bet my entire life savings you know more than I do.
I've been on a lot of threads, a lot of subreddits, a lot of reviews and people talking about it the last couple of days just to see what's happening.
Oh God, Jay, we've got to be careful here. I'm getting pretty shaky now. I'm getting like a little boy. Yeah.
No, I know the feeling.
Like I had this stage today where I'm in my mind. I'm thinking like people have got it. Like people are playing it right
people
now.
have completed it. Are you joking?
Well, that
The
is true.
people
Like
who
reviews and
reviewed it
stuff.
for IGN
Yeah.
completed it about 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, Jay, what are your thoughts on? I know we're getting long, whatever. What are your thoughts on? We could do a debate on this, perhaps, but yeah, reviewers getting it early. Do you think it's fair? Not fair? Do you think it's right?
100% fair.
Because
if I was
we
a
should
reviewer, I
know.
wouldn't want it day one and then have to wait a few days to then make my review. I want the review to be out either the day it comes out or a couple of days before, so that people who want to buy it have an opinion who they trust or maybe don't trust to decide whether they want to buy it or not.
I think you're right. The struggle I have, Jay, as with anyone, is I'm pretty good at avoiding spoilers, but it feels like it's getting harder every year.
Dude, you can't be on the internet right now if you want to.
That's
You
what I
can't be on Twitter.
mean.
You really can't. There are so many spoilers out there right now. So many. A lot of people are actually being quite nice though. They're sort of like on Reddit. You can have a thing that covers up certain things that are spoilers, and if you want to see them, you have to click on them. So
yeah, I've seen that before. That's really good. And I also think that Avengers Endgame was actually remarkable with people's attitude towards.
Wow.
I might be wrong about that.
The directors made a video, didn't they, on their Twitter page?
Saying
Did you see that? Yeah, they did
was
a
like,
30-second, minute long, basically saying, "Look, we don't want this to happen. What happened before? You know, be respectful. Don't ruin it for other people."
Before is in Infinity War.
Yeah, because Infinity War got spoiled for a lot of people because of Mark Ruffalo, I think.
Oh, I was going to say because of all the clips of everyone. You know.
There was tons of stuff. There was, Tom
Holland.
Yeah, he did a couple things he probably shouldn't have said.
Sure.
But to be honest, the things they did say could have been taken as a joke if they weren't said in the way they said them, I think.
I understand, yeah.
So it was actually more to do with the people's reaction to it than what they said.
Sure.
They could have been joking. They could have made it up. People wouldn't have known.
Yeah. So we're going to do a whole special episode, the first special on The Last of Us Part 2. I wouldn't call it a review. I'm going to play it.
Will that be next week or will that be the week? Oh, that'd be a special. That'd be a separate thing, wouldn't it?
Whole separate thing. It won't be included in the show. It won't be included in show 15. It will be a whole its own thing, entity, and it won't be a review per se. It will be my thoughts, feelings, expressions of the game.
I can't wait to know what your feelings are on this. I genuinely.
I can't wait to speak with you about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man. Well, what's your next? I'm really excited for you in Cyberpunk. I'm excited for Cyberpunk, but I'm even more excited for you in Cyberpunk. Yeah, that'll be good. And we'll probably do a special on that, but that's in the future. So for now, Jay, shall we talk about what we've been playing? Would you like to go first?
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
Yes, I've finished the DLC campaigns.
So can you give me a quick, what are the names of every Destiny 2 DLC? So we've got Destiny 2, the core game. Do we know every DLC name from then on?
Yeah. So
He's
core
getting up.
game.
Yeah.
Curse of Osiris was the first expansion.
And that's like a 3-player horde mode thing, isn't it? Am I wrong with
No,
that?
so you've got the Trials of Osiris, which I think was like a
Yeah, that's
thing
what I'm
you could
thinking
do.
of.
It was like a multiplayer thing that came along with it.
Curse of Osiris is the first story DLC.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it came with other, features. I mean, all the DLC I'm about to say sort of come with their own features, not necessarily just the campaign, but other things as well. Next one was Warmind DLC.
Warmind, okay.
Yeah, then it was the Forsaken expansion. Oh, Shadowkeep. There we go, Shadowkeep.
Can you just give me literally a 30-second summary of the general public players, critics' reactions to each of those DLCs?
Oh
Like,
God.
what's people so I assume Shadowkeep has been the most praised because now Bungie and Activision have left each other. That Bungie are able to do what they want to do.
I
Whereas all the
guess,
other
yeah.
DLCs, Activision was driving it a little bit, maybe making it a bit drawn out, a bit, but scraped over too much bread, so they say.
I think what I can say is if whether or not Destiny had left Bungie before Forsaken came out, it would
Bungie had
make a
left us.
lot. Yeah, I'm
But
trying to think.
yeah, sorry, go on. Sorry.
Do we know when they left?
I think it's like a year ago, maybe a bit longer.
Let's have a look. Because I'm trying to think if it lines up with my personal review of what each of the DLCs was like.
Well, okay, you tell me give me your thoughts on each of these. Which DLCs had you completed before this renaissance of playing Destiny 2?
I actually hadn't done any of the DLCs. I'd just done the base game.
Okay, and did you like the base game story?
I loved it. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay, and you played Destiny 1?
Yeah, although I don't know if I did all the DLC for that.
Did you complete the story? What did you think of the story?
What, for the first Destiny or the second one?
First Destiny.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I mean, I think I actually have more memories. Like my memory of DLC of Destiny 1, Destiny 2 are like mushed together.
Sure, because they're
Because
so
like,
similar.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
just because of like the destinations that you can go to, and I don't know, it
sure.
all just sort of blends into one memory for me.
I heard the story on Destiny 2 was considerably better than Destiny
Oh,
1.
yeah, I feel like the main campaign was probably better on Destiny 1, but the
Destiny 1?
DLC, yeah, on Destiny 1.
Really?
Just because it's like the nostalgia of it, I guess, it all being so new.
Okay, no, yeah, you're right. Like, new solar system. No, I'm
Like
with you.
I remember the first like couple hours of Destiny 1 like off the back of my hand. Like it's just so memorable to me. But
Yeah, I
I
feel
don't
you.
think I can probably remember the main campaign of Destiny 2 as much. Just
Okay,
because it didn't.
okay.
I mean, it definitely hit me as like a whole new thing, but just wasn't as impactful because obviously I'd
I'm with
seen it
you.
before. So
Brand new Bungie IP, first thing they've done since the Halo franchise. It was a big deal.
yeah.
So, okay, so you've done all the DLC story content. So let's go
Yeah.
through each one, Jay, and tell me what you thought.
Curse of Osiris. I really loved it. I mean, the thing is, it's probably weirdly Curse of Osiris is probably the weakest out of them all. But I do love all these DLC. I think they're all special in their own way. It's very unique. It did like a lot of unique things that I hadn't. That's the thing I love about Destiny is that everything you come across tends to be quite unique. There's not. I mean, there's a lot of samey stuff, but then there's also a lot of not so samey stuff too.
So
Curse of
are
Osiris
each of
is sort
these
of like trying to think of the best way to describe it. It kind of reminds me of like I don't know why, but like Egypt for some reason.
because
I
of
feel
the
like
name?
probably the name. Yeah, I don't know why. Whenever I
Yeah.
think of it, it sort of reminds me of that. But it's more to do with a guy who is a little bit like Osiris, I guess. It's like all to do with like gods, I guess.
Where's it? What planet or whatever? Where's it based, Jay?
Oh God, that was on Mercury. Curse
So
of
all of
Osiris.
these DLCs, like, let's not get in the details here, but they all introduce different stuff, like not just story, like different guns and locations
Yeah, they
and
tend to
even
come with
modes.
a whole new set of exotics and
Right,
exotic
right,
missions
right.
and new legendaries and stuff
Sure.
like that, and usually a bump in like max level as well.
Okay. And are each of them supposed to be similar size, or like what's
Yeah, so that
the?
was the thing I was kind of surprised by. I think Curse of Osiris and Warmind, the second one, were probably about the same size.
Okay.
Forsaken was the biggest one,
Yeah.
and then I think Shadowkeep was probably uh, bigger than the first two, but smaller than the third.
Okay. I remember Forsaken being quite a big deal when it
Yeah,
came
Forsaken
out.
is actually like probably my favorite of them all.
So let's go. What's number 2?
Number two is Warmind.
Okay. So
Warmind is actually
you're in the
on.
Destiny 2 mode now. Like Curse of Osiris got you into it,
Yeah,
and
definitely got me
and
back.
now you're like, okay, I'm just gonna play through all of them.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty simple. I mean there's not that many missions, not really. I mean I was surprised actually when I went to look back how many campaign missions there were. And there weren't really that many. There's probably like 12 or 13.
Of the main story.
Yeah, but each of the missions usually have like different steps, so like 3 or 4 steps. So they tend to last quite long, which is good. I mean I completed it in a week. These DLCs, so actually less than a week. I think I started it on Sunday.
But they're fairly sizable
Can't remember.
things.
Did I start? I can't remember when I started. Yeah, I mean they're all a good enough size. I was very happy with the amount of content they
How
each
much are
gave
they? Like
out.
20, 30 quid each?
I think you can buy the latest two for 40 usually, so 20 each.
Yeah.
But at the minute they're on sale for like 26 or something. So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Premium price, premium content. Okay.
yeah, definitely.
So was it Warmind? Was it? Was
Yeah,
it
Warmind
Warmind?
was good. I like the content of it. I'm actually still doing a few exotic quests and side quests on that.
Okay.
Done all the main stuff.
How do you, Jay? How does this? How do they all not blend? How does this whole Destiny 2 package not blend together for you to the point where
Yeah,
you're like, I don't even know what exotics I'm getting from where? Does that
I
make
will say
sense?
the exotics you won't know until you actually like look it up. I
Okay.
actually haven't done any of the exotic ones yet because they require so much for you to do. I did try a little bit today to get some of the steps done, but I mean, it takes some pretty good skill and time put in to be able to do that. So,
Sure.
yeah, I did actually think about that, about how even the DLCs sort of blend together, but you can't really. I think you can do two at the same time. It's just better just to stick with one. Like if you just, as long as you go to the mission that requires you to, because you've every DLC you have to like start it up essentially. You get like a
Okay.
cutscene that starts that DLC. So as long as you stick to the missions within that, and then start the second one whenever you want later on, as long as you do it in the right order, then it should be fine. They won't ever get muddled unless you actually start the second one up yourself.
Okay.
So I didn't do that, because if not, that probably would have ruined the story a little bit. So
Yeah. So what do you think of Warmind?
yeah, well, mine is probably better than Curse.
Mhm.
I'd say a majority of why I like these DLCs is more the content and I guess the mission design, the level design. Cyrus is all pretty samey. Warmind, there was definitely a lot more involved in the second one. I will say, like, whenever I look for DLC, I tend to look for like boss battles, and there were some pretty good boss battles in all these. I'd say there wasn't as many in Curse, but there's some better ones in Warmind.
And I assume that this is all driven by the core gameplay loop, which is still really fantastic because the gunplay in Destiny has always been phenomenal.
Yeah, always. It's
Yeah.
always good to see. Like, I will say the progression as well is pretty amazing. Like the light level progression,
Okay.
and whenever you get like a one that's a higher light level, like a drop that's a higher light level, I always put it on, even if I didn't think it was like better than what I had.
Do they have an appearance system like Odyssey and
They
Origins
do,
where
but
you?
I would say it probably best not to change anything because it's a bit of a waste. By the time you've like changed the color of how you look, you'll have already gotten like another one that's even better.
Is it really that
Drops are pretty frequent, but they're not like
like,
that frequent. They're like a
you're
medium level
finding it?
frequency.
You're finding improved gear that often that there really is no point in
I mean, I'm getting 2 to 3 bits of loot every mission, so
that is
yeah,
better than what you have.
that's better than what I have. Yeah, and that can
Crikey.
vary from blue level rarity to like legendary, I guess. Rare and legendary.
So they sound like they've got the end game pretty well covered.
Yeah,
If
I
that
will
is
say
right.
that they've back in the day. I remember balancing being a bit of an issue with like loot drops and stuff like that, but I think they've got a pretty good system now. They've had a long
Okay,
time
cool.
to fix it or change it how they think it should be done. So
So what's number 3?
number three was the Forsaken, which was my favorite one.
And this was they marketed this quite a lot from what I
Yeah, this
remember.
one was big. It was the sort of the the end of one particular character.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So that's not actually a massive spoiler. That's like part of the whole marketing thing, is this character isn't in
Yeah,
it
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it was like
And
a much beloved character from Destiny 1. So
you enjoyed this. Why was this your favorite, do you think?
weirdly, again, it comes down to like uh, so you know how in Assassin's Creed there's like you have the what I forgot what they're called now in Odyssey, the cult.
Cult of Cosmos.
Yeah, so imagine you had that, but in Destiny, essentially, right? So there's these like 8 high level like creatures that you have to kill to be able to get to like the head. And so they
Sure.
had like a similar system in this, which I love any game that includes that. That you have to like go kill like a specially designed boss, like one that has elements of you have to dodge this and make sure you don't stand here and stuff like that.
And each of these 8 heads had those special
Yeah, they
things.
had unique abilities and ways they could like get around not dying, and you had to
That's
then,
cool.
press a button here to do this, like stuff like that.
Are you playing through all of these solo?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's not difficult. The whole game can be played solo technically. It's just you have to be. But
There's
the
no
campaign's easy on solo, really, really easy.
there's no scaling issues like Borderlands, previously
No,
where
definitely not. The scaling
okay,
issues don't get actually affected until you do raids. I'd say raids are a lot harder on your own, and nightfall strikes as well. They're a lot harder on your own.
okay.
You kind of have to have at least three to six people on those.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we get to the most recent one, Shadowkeep, is
Yeah,
it?
Shadowkeep was good because they actually involved a lot of the next. They sort of tease a lot of the next DLC that's coming up, the one that they released or showed off recently.
Yes. That we talked about last week, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that was
so where
nice.
does this
That all fit
where does
together.
where does this leave you, Jay? Now that you're caught up, are you pretty much gonna every single expansion that comes out, and whether that be, you're gonna be on your Xbox Series X or PS5, are you now gonna play every expansion as soon as it comes out and just stay up to date with Destiny 2 for as long as it goes, or
I don't know. I think the plan right now is to get all the missions done I possibly can before the next one comes out, and then just leave it and then wait until I'm ready to play it again. I think there
so
might
it
be a
could
little
be
bit more of an incentive for me to play it right away, just because I'm closer now to playing the new one than I would have been previously.
sure.
Yeah, I've sort of got obviously having not having played it for like 2 to 3 years, and then the next DLC coming out within the next few months, it might make me a bit fresher in the mind about what to do. So
Is
if I hadn't have played the DLC until the September one, I probably would have been a bit more of a muddle.
how how much do you want to cover at your current stage in Destiny 2? How much are you willing to grind and do strikes, etc., before you start getting bored, or have you already started getting bored?
I wouldn't necessarily say bored, just like I'm pacing myself. Does that make
You're
sense?
just playing enough.
I'm playing like enough until I get like I'm like good for the day. Which I don't. It's weird for me to say because I really don't do that when it comes to games. Most I think because the game is primarily like a multiplayer game, really.
Sure.
Like a lot of the features in it require multiplayer things to do, so it feels more like a multiplayer game, even though it's definitely a single player game in ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Although even in like when you free roam on a planet, like there's other players that are just like helping you do stuff. There's like already like events that happen to like kill a certain boss or something. So
Okay.
it just feels nice when there's lots of other people. But yeah.
I can relate to that. I think like you say, it's difficult to exist in that living world space when you haven't got that regular squad sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes
Thing
even
is, I
though you
can do
can't.
that though, because there's that LFG, I think, looking for group.
Yes, which is
I used to do
great, by
that
the
back
way.
in the
Genius.
day. I did that a lot back in the day, just because I was like so fresh to it. And once you get to the point where you sort of need people, like doing the raids and stuff, that's pretty. Actually, I think back in the day there wasn't matchmaking for strikes
No, I think I wasn't it. There wasn't matchmaking for raids.
for both. I think.
Crikey.
I don't think there's even matchmaking for raids now. I must double check that.
Ooh,
It'd be good if there was. I think there
yeah.
is. But back in the day, I think the reason why I used LFG so much was because there wasn't matchmaking at the time. Whereas
The only
now you
reason
don't
I
really
don't
need
want to
to.
jump into this ecosystem with you, as I mentioned to you, I think on the phone, is that these expansions, apart from was it Forsaken or one of them, don't have any achievements or trophies attached to them, which seems a
Yeah,
bit
I
strange.
was confused by that as well. I saw it. I thought, oh, that's a bit strange.
And I know it's pathetic, but I'm genuinely serious when I'm telling you that puts me off buying into that ecosystem. Just
if anything, it actually makes me feel better about it. It makes me not have to worry as much.
Sure, because you haven't got to commit to stuff. Yeah,
I literally haven't thought about a single achievement since I've been playing it. I just been like a few have popped up and I've been like, oh, that's nice. I will say there's actually like a really massive in-game sort of like achievement system that
like
actually rewards you. Like it gives you rewards for doing certain things.
That's cool.
So you don't even really. I think that's part of the reason why they don't give you achievements, because they've sort of got their own in-game one that rewards you with real rewards, rather than just the satisfaction of having done something.
My initial reaction to any in-game reward system, this one sounds really good, but my initial reaction...
massive. It's so much bigger than you think it is. It's insane.
See, that's just it though, Jay. Like every game I go on now has an impossible list, unless I get rid of all life responsibilities. Like,
yeah, no, it's 100% impossible.
I'll talk about it in a bit from the games I've been playing, but every single game now is just an impossible. I remember when we played Assassin's Creed Revelations multiplayer, which was good, and they had 99 prestiges, and you just think, why? What's the point? I'm now put off from even progressing a little because the mountain you made is so high. No one's even going to be playing this game by the time I get to prestige 50, let alone 99, you know? And that was the classic example for me of I don't want these in-game challenge measurements. They're nice when they pop, but I won't even look at them, mate, because they are just ridiculous, you know? So, do you mind, Jay, if I go into what I've been playing? I've been quite a busy bee. I've been playing quite a variety of games this week, Jay. I'll try and be concise as I can. So, finished Bioshock Burial at Sea Episode 2. That was just a random episode that I finally went over and finished. That's Bioshock Infinite DLC. So that was cool. That was good. It did tread on being slightly too complicated with the main story, and then this additional story. My head was starting to explode, but it finishes fairly narrow in scope in a good way, and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I finished it now. So that's all Bioshock stuff done for me. Next up, Call of Duty World War II was one of the free games on PS Plus this month, and
I was surprised. I saw you started to play that, and I thought, why the hell is he playing that? And then I saw zombies, and I thought, that makes more sense.
100%.
I was so surprised when I saw you. I thought, oh my god, is that? I thought weirdly, I thought your brother was playing on your account.
Well, we played together.
I was going to say you probably did play together. That probably makes more sense.
Yeah, so didn't touch the multiplayer, didn't touch the campaign. Traditionally, quick summary, I haven't bought a Call of Duty in years apart from the Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster.
It was free probably was the incentive there, wasn't it?
100%. Would never have bought it. Yeah. So anyway, so my brother got it and he's like, Nick, like zombies are good on it. We should give it a go. And I'm like, yeah, sure they are, El.
And they are. Have you not played? You've played zombies before,
mate. Mince my words. Call of Duty World War 2 has the best zombies in any Call of Duty. Okay.
Oh, really? I don't think I've actually played the World War II zombies.
Dude, it's unbelievably like I don't know. Look, Sledgehammer Games. If the multiplayer and campaign is anything like the zombie mode, they have made one of the best Call of Duties ever. Because this zombie mode, it progresses, it advances in so many ways that I'm now going to go into. So firstly, you can finish the game. You can finish the zombie map by following many objectives, different things you've got to do. You get to a boss at the end, you defeat the boss, you finish the map.
I mean, you could do that before. It was just a lot harder to do.
I don't know. I'm not too savvy on the history of zombies, but
it's always been very difficult to actually beat a zombies map. Honestly, I've only ever done it once.
Sure.
Across all zombie games that have ever come out.
Sure, and some of the ones that stand out for me, are the classic maps on World at War. That when I think of Call of Duty Zombies, that's the thing that stands out. And I don't have much history with it, but I just thought this mode was so advanced. And the zombies look so good and detailed. The graphics looked better than the new Call of Duty, for God's sake.
Very true. I will say World War II is one of my favourite Call of Duty games of the last Call of Duty games that have come out.
I was so
It's really,
impressed,
really,
dude.
it's
The
like
gun
amazingly good.
sounded fantastic. The different elements of the map looked fantastic. I just wanted to walk around and notice all of the things. We finished the map in 3 goes. So
Oh wow,
second
okay.
go, halfway through, my brother had to leave. And I'm like, I'll just leave it going. I'll do as much as I can while you're gone, right? I played for an hour and a half on my own. I'm literally like, he comes back on the mic. I'm like, L, get on here right now. I've done this, 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 and this. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got to go now. And I was like, are you joking? Anyway, so I carry on by myself, and I'm not
It is
joking, Jake.
doable on your own.
I
It's
get
just
to the
got very
last
difficult.
stage and I
I was gonna
disconnect.
say, yeah,
Oh my
that's happened before.
God.
That's happened before.
Anyway, so we do round 3. We do it for the 3rd time, and we do it, and I've uninstalled it. We were both literally like, okay, we've beaten it now, so let's go.
Oh wow,
So
okay, one and done. Nice.
yeah, literally, like we look. If they had the zombie maps free on DLC or whatever, I would happily play through those. But they all cost a lot of money, and also
Yeah.
there are some bonus stuff you can do on the map. But Jake, for example, okay, there's something like 9 or 10. One of them requires you to find 3 different things to make 3 different variants of one gun for one of the objectives of the 9. And me and my brother were just like, not a chance. Not
Yeah,
a
it's
chance.
that's the problem with zombies I've always had, is it's actually a lot more difficult than it looks. That's the only issue. Like
Definitely, mate.
some of the things you had to do, I think I can't remember. It might have been one of the Black Ops, like maybe 2 or 1, no, probably 2. The zombies in that was like you had to do so many different you had to find so many things that you wouldn't know unless you'd Googled it.
Exactly.
Like people had to play this thing for like weeks in a row just so they could figure out what to do next. Which I guess for them was probably nice. It was like a nice challenge to be able to like go through a game and just keep playing it until you can figure out the puzzle, I guess.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know
Yeah.
unless you'd already played it and done it, figured out for yourself, or just Googled it. So there
You're
are some
right.
things that I would play. I'd play like matchmake with people online, and they'd have to tell me everything because I had no idea what was going on because they'd already played it for like weeks in a row, and I'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Insane, honestly. But that's I think that's what makes them so good.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
There
the
is an
reason why
air
they're
of
still talked about.
100%. There's an air of obscurity to them and mystery that there's so much to discover. And it's funny you say that, Jay, because you almost forget that games like this and modes like this, almost every game out there has that hardcore fan base who are playing it constantly to find out everything. Like every game. It's amazing. And lastly, my mate, Will, he made me download Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront
Oh,
2, the
okay.
new one.
Nice, nice, nice.
So that
Hang on,
was
so
free
how
on
do you? Oh, it was free, was it?
it was free on PS Plus. He was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Buy it," and I was like, "I'm not buying it." And it became free. Lucky for him. So
Yeah,
I
very.
bought the first Battlefront on my Xbox. Very very disappointed with it. I heard the reception to Battlefront 2 didn't even go near it.
Weirdly, the
And
second one does have a lot going for it, though.
Jay, I
A hell of
have
a lot.
I have been so wrong about this new Battlefront 2. This new Battlefront 2 is better than the original Battlefront 2. This new Battlefront 2 is really, really great and
I
fun.
know. I've
It
played it a
took
lot.
them,
It's good.
dude, it took them 3 years to get it right, but the maps are
I would
fantastic.
have
The
said actually,
sounds are
like maybe
fantastic.
last year they probably started to do pretty well.
Sure,
I think once the
sure.
film came out, it did really, really well.
Well, what I will say is that I think even a year after launch, it wasn't where it needed to be.
No,
And for
probably took
whatever
about a year and a
reason,
half, 2 years, definitely.
yeah, and for whatever reason, EA are still letting DICE support it, which is interesting. Maybe EA have changed their stance on Star Wars since Disney got involved from all the microtransaction rubbish that they were doing at the launch of Battlefront 2, but
Yeah, that
the
was odd.
uniforms look fantastic. Everything, the graphics look great. It's
So
so fun to play.
my favorite thing about it is the fact that you can be a Jedi, like a very important one from like the previous. You play Luke, you can play Count Dooku, and you can
Mm,
just run about and kill the opposite Jedi's. Like you can go, if you're like Luke, you can go kill Darth Vader, like just in like an
it's so
arena. It's so fun to do that. It's
it's
insane.
so
And then
yeah,
space
Heroes
battles as well. There's everything. They've got everything. It's all there.
the space battles are fantastic. The modes, Jay, I can't tell you how cool the modes are.
Yeah.
So the first one I'm going to talk about is Supremacy, and it's a huge. I think it's 20. No, is it 20v20? Something like that.
Yeah.
20v20. These huge land
Oh,
battles.
them massive battles. Yeah.
And they're huge, mate. And then the losing side, you then go on their ship, and then you have to finish them on their ship. and
Yeah,
it's
it's like
so
a film
cool,
essentially, isn't it? It's literally like you're
dude.
doing a proper battle from start
You
to
you
finish.
feel like you're part of that trilogy wherever it takes place.
100%.
And for the record, Jay, now I'm going to sound really old,
Oh
but
no.
I without getting into too much of a of a debate here, I do firmly believe that the prequel trilogy has more of an identity than the new trilogy, and
Yes. I
I
think that's like a fact.
yeah,
That's
and
not even an opinion.
I think, the prequel trilogy got a lot of flack and it's got a great identity. I just want to put that out there. And the other mode I wanted to talk about was Galactic Assault, which is awesome, dude. So you have to like push each other back and defend or attack these objectives or whatever, depending on what side you're on.
Mm.
And you can see it in the map. So we were droids attacking the Camino clone facility, and we had these launching droid drills that came down from our ships in the sky onto the Camino roof, as it were, and were drilling into the. Dude, I honestly couldn't stop smiling. I couldn't stop
Good.
smiling. It,
Yeah.
I finally found a multiplayer game which
Do
I'm happy to
you?
play for months on end.
I was going to say, do you want to play that at some point?
Mate, I would love to play it.
Because I'll start that. I'll download that and we can play it together at some point.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
So I don't know. This might sound like a really weird question, but the game came out almost 3 years ago. Do you feel like you're a little bit late to the party?
No, because I feel like what I've done is I've missed the
The
moment
bad.
where it was a bad game.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
I'm playing the game which I feel that they had always either meant or should have made.
I feel like I've actually come back to the game about 3 or 4 different times at this point. I think
And you've never
after every new film that came out over the last couple of years, I sort of came back just to see what the new content was like. And
sure.
every time any time I didn't really feel like I'd missed out on anything. But every time I'd felt like it wasn't the best it could be. And then the last time I played it last year was actually pretty decent. So I was like, okay, this is good now. Because they
Yeah,
had finally
100%.
introduced like good modes and things were a lot
Yeah, and
better.
I don't know if they've changed the gameplay, but I played it with
No,
my
it's
brother
pretty
like a
similar.
year. I played it with my brother like a year after launch, and I vividly remember just not enjoying it that much. So I don't know what they've
Yeah.
changed, but
Thing is, it reminds me a lot because it's basically the same engine as like Battlefield, right?
I
So
don't
because
I think so.
it's Frostbite.
Frostbite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of reminds me a lot of playing Battlefield, and I get quite bored of Battlefield quite quickly,
Okay.
just because it's very like the matches are very long usually,
Very long.
and they're pretty like you have to travel quite a distance to be able to get to where you want to go sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending on
Yeah.
the map, you have to travel for a good minute and a half before you actually get to the battlefield, and then you might just get shot out in the middle of nowhere and have to do it all over again.
Sure.
It kind of feels like an American football game, 11 seconds of actual action where you've got 3 hours and 2 minutes of just like adverts. That's kind of what it
Yeah.
feels like a lot of the
Jay,
time.
what's your history with Star Wars? Like, do you love it? Do you like
What
it? Do
films
you
or
yeah,
just the
like
whole thing?
the films in the universe.
Um, 4, 5, and 6 are probably obviously the best ones.
But
I
do you love Star Wars? Are you just traditionally like you've always liked it?
Yeah, no, I've grown up with it. My
Okay.
generation of Star Wars was the prequels, the 1, 2, and
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
which are terrible but good at the same time. Like they have their moments.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not. It definitely could have been told differently, but it's definitely a necessary evil, I guess you could call it.
Okay, sure.
I mean, it's at this point, it's obviously a meme, right? You've got the whole Obi-Wan thing.
What do you mean, sorry?
Like, Obi-Wan has sort of become this massive meme. I'd probably say the last couple of months during quarantine.
I haven't
There's
Jay,
just okay, so there's people online are just like quoting everything he says out of the film essentially.
all right,
Just
okay.
because I guess obviously they're doing the new
TV
Obi-Wan TV show
series.
soon with
Yeah.
Ewan's coming back for it, so I think everyone's just getting ready for that. It sounds like.
I gotta say, Jay, that'll make or break whether I watch anything of Star Wars in the next
Have you
5
seen
years.
Mandalorian?
Nah.
Oh my, you're missing out, my guy.
I,
It's so different, but so good, and like still so Star Wars. It's insane.
okay.
It's so worth it. My God, is it worth it?
What we'll say quickly to finish this is that after seeing Rise of Skywalker, I can safely say that my childhood love of Star Wars has dwindled. And I can safely say that Battlefront 2 is keeping whatever love I had for it very much alive.
I don't know. I don't feel as bad about the last this generation Star Wars as I think as everybody else does. I actually really liked Solo, and I really liked Rogue One.
Dude, Rogue One was great.
Solo, I
Really,
think
really
Solo's
great.
slightly underrated.
I think
I
you
think
might be right.
people are crapping on it a bit too much. I think the only issue I had with it was quite dark when I saw it in cinema, but that might have been the cinema I saw it in. I don't know. It's a very dark film.
I think you might be right, mate. I think you might be right. I think people were getting a bit fed up with Star Wars at that point, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
I think majority of the criticism that Star Wars is getting is just because it's been happening quite quickly.
100%.
There hasn't been enough of a gap, I guess, in between. I don't know.
If there's one thing to learn, it's that George Lucas did the right thing with leaving 3 years in between each of the main films. Like, easy.
Was it 1 year or was it 2 years for the latest ones? It was 2 years, wasn't it? Or was it 1 year?
Depends what. So it was Episode 7, a year later Rogue One, a year later Episode 8,
Oh, right,
5
okay.
months
Yeah,
later
you're
Solo, and then a year and a half later Episode 9, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't think yeah, I think that's right. So, when we got to the Rogue One bit, it was like, whoa, Episode 8, Solo, like, this is too much. Because I know what they were thinking. They were thinking, like, let's do a Marvel. Let's have 3 films a year. And it's like, you're not Marvel, though.
Yeah, it did kind of make it seem. Well, I mean, it's Disney still, isn't it? So
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'd love to play it. Let's go on Battlefront 2 and let's see what you think.
Yeah, see if I'm actually any good at it.
You will be. You will be.
I've done pretty well on there before, so.
There's some pretty bad people on there, mate. I got to number 1 on the scoreboard this morning.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's one thing I'm actually quite confident in is my FPS. Although I wouldn't say it's not as good nowadays, just because the game's changed.
You play first person?
Well, no, I mean like well, yeah, I mean yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on what mode you're on, isn't it? That you play as the person said. But I mean, just like FPSs in general, like Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, right? I feel like I can get to the top of the leaderboard pretty consistently.
Really?
Yeah, it's been getting with the more recent Call of Duties, it's getting harder and harder because the games are changing so much. They're not like classic versions of themselves anymore. They've just changed enough for me to not be good at it as much.
Yeah, it's like you got to learn a whole new skill set. Yeah,
the muscle memory from previous years is just gone.
Jay, shall we move on to the news?
Yeah. I don't know if you want to attempt this, do you?
This is not my best accent, Jay, okay? Are you ready?
Hang on. Try this.
What am I doing?
Click the link.
I don't want to hear it though. I want to try without hearing it.
Okay, try it with. It's actually a lot more difficult than it looks.
Bonsoir les actualities.
That's pretty close. I'll give you that.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's good enough for me.
I feel like I messed up the first word.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
It's like voici les actualités, something like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair play. Yeah,
there we go. We tried.
No, that's cool, man. I like French. It's very sexy language.
Yeah, I'm
very
not
sexy. Don't like frog legs, but we'll move on.
I never tried them.
Neither have I. I just don't want to.
There we go.
Okay, Jay. We've got quite a lot of Star Wars news actually. We've got, mate, forget Creed cast. We've got Star Wars cast.
Okay, yeah, there does seem to be a bit of Star Wars news. Yeah.
What would be a good replacement for that? Star Wars squad. We've got a Star Wars squad. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
Yeah, we've got a lot of Star Wars news this week. Jay, how would you like to handle the news this week? Okay, let's just dive right in then. So
Yeah,
let's
go
go
for it.
through my stuff.
Yeah.
First up, we've got opinion article from Tom's Guide, written by Michael Andronico. Sorry, butchered your
Andronico.
name. Andronico. That sounds
Andronico.
Andronico.
It sounds Italian, doesn't
Hey,
it?
hey. Yeah, I think so.
Michelangelo Andronico. I feel like I can actually do a pretty good Italian accent just because I played Assassin's Creed so much.
I think that's legit.
I even think Greek and Italian sounds somewhat similar. So
You probably, I mean,
it
mate,
does. It really does.
some of the pronunciations I'm hearing in Odyssey, I'm like, I would have never
Here's a good question
heard
for
that.
you. Are you starting to sound like, is your inner monologue starting to sound Greek?
I know what you're saying.
Because mine did. The entirety of me playing Odyssey, I'm not joking, I thought in a Greek accent.
I know what you're saying.
That's not even a joke. I can still do it now.
Like the word pole mark, they're like polymarker or something like that. And you're like, whoa, I never would have thought about it like that. And then as soon as they say it, yeah, exactly.
Socrates. I love it. Like the way
Socrates.
the way they say like Greek
Anonymous.
words. The English pronunciation of them was so different to the Greek pronunciation.
Yeah, I feel that.
So weird.
It's cool. I assume 5 reasons why Xbox Series X will beat PS5. Now, I don't want to go into each of them, but I thought it was a really cool article. I'll put it in the description or whatever, because it really summarizes for me as well the key points that Xbox Series X has going for it. And none of them are games, spoiler, but what they do have, I think it's legit. Like, I think if they lost by a really wide margin this generation, I would be a bit surprised. What are your thoughts, Jay?
Say that again, sorry.
I said if Xbox lost by a really wide margin this generation, I'd be a bit surprised. I'm not saying that PS5 won't have the best games, but Xbox is in a much stronger place, software and services wise, than it ever has been. And if they have a more powerful console, I can't see how they would get demolished, to be honest, compared to PS5.
Weird. I've always seen Sony and the PlayStation as a much more professional sort of, they know exactly what they're doing with their console type company.
Well, we've talked about this a lot, right? Like the teenage.
Yeah, but I guess, but in a different kind of sense, I feel like it's sort of switched a little bit as of late, like recently, with the news of knowing that the Xbox is better in overall power. It kind of makes me feel like, well, hang on, has Microsoft become 20, 21 now? Are they starting to figure out what's going on, you know? Like, it kind of feels like they've sort of hit that next stage in their life where they're starting to get a bit more adult now. Yeah, like we say, we've always seen Microsoft as being a bit of a teenager, but it kind of sounds like this guy's got a job now. And he's growing up a bit. He's moved out, you know, this kind of thing.
I think you make a good point, Jay. It does seem for
He's
the
come
first
out of the gate
time.
hot, is what he's done. Like he's
Yeah.
put his foot forward. You know, he really this console seems like I really, it feels like they can't really go wrong if they've got more power. I guess the only way they could go wrong is if the pricing is going to be massive on this, isn't it?
It will be. It will be. I think if they need to get the pricing right. And to be honest, Jay, I think they've pretty much got down almost every other essence that they need to. They've got down the look. I think they've got down the power. They've got down the services. They've got down the software. They've got down the UI. They just need the most important element, which is the game.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. It's the games. The games are the dividing thing here, aren't they? The PlayStation has just got better games overall. Like, it really has.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I
we
feel
know
like
that now from the conference.
When I think about Microsoft or Xbox exclusives, it kind of makes me feel a bit like gross at the idea of it almost. It really does. It kind of makes me feel like, oh, why would I want to buy that on that console? And then I think about PlayStation and I think, oh, sleek, nice.
Yeah.
I'll definitely get that for that. The way they present themselves, Xbox. I feel I've never really liked the Xbox UI. The UI just seems really clunky and like, I don't know, messy to me, and it always made me feel like less of me wanting to play it. I know that sounds like probably like a really silly way of looking at it, but it really like aesthetic and the way things feel and look is pretty big when it comes to consoles. I'm hoping that they're going to have a complete UI change with the new Xbox.
Me too. I love UI changes.
I want a whole new UI. I want it to be so much sleeker. I just need Xbox. Which is what made me think was a bit strange with the Xbox design, is that I thought they were going to go in a bit more of a sleeker path, but they've gone with their usual thing of straight edges, clean cut, a box, right? Which I'm kind of glad they did, because they're sticking to their old ways. Because Xbox, I guess the original Xbox was a little bit sleeker, but it was still a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas PlayStation is a PlayStation. It's a thing that is
Plays
sleek
game.
and smooth, and has always had a bit. I feel like the PS2 and the PS1 were obviously a bit more box-like, but the PS3 kind of changed the game a little bit when it came in with that more sleeker design.
Definitely.
And again, with the PS4 was like a good mixture of the two. But weirdly, even though these things seem quite trivial, it does tend to maybe subconsciously stick in your mind of how you feel towards the consoles, like loyalty-wise, I guess. I feel like I'm not really loyal to either or, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you make some good points there, Jay. And I think that any UI overall is really exciting.
UI is so important. Oh my god,
so important. I will say, Jay, I have to stand by this. I think the Xbox UI has never been faster nor smaller and simpler. I've got to say.
I think that's probably one of the things we can disagree on then. I'll agree to disagree with you on that one, mate.
But that's all exciting stuff, right? Like new UIs. I think the console design for the Series X looks great. I stand by it. I really do.
Honestly, I think the Series X looks a lot better than the PS5. 100%. If I had to go by design only, I'd go with the Xbox.
I'm glad you think that. I'm glad you think that.
100%. I love it. I love the way it looks. I really do. Even though what you said about it being not sleek, I think the Xbox being clean cut and not having any smooth edges necessarily really does make it unique and nice.
Yeah, 100%. And like you say, it is giving off that first professional vibe, which they desperately need.
It's extremely simple too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like weirdly simple. Whenever even the Xbox One had like a smooth like metallic-y shiny look to it, and like a matte kind of fan thing, which I never really liked the look of. It looks a bit odd to me.
It's just so big, mate.
This is like one texture with like then the holes on the side and the top, which I quite like.
And it's even got the little dip in the top, right? The little.
Yeah, I love that it dips. I'm glad it wasn't like a straight cut. Weirdly, the fact that it dips makes all the difference. I don't know why, but it does.
Small things like that.
The one thing that will change my opinion in any way now is whether there's a green light that emits out the top of the Xbox and whether there's a blue light that emits out the top of the PS5. Because I don't know if that's just for show or if that's actually how it's going to look. I want there to be a green and a blue LED light really badly.
I'm pretty sure that there will be LEDs on both, mate. I've got to say.
The thing is, on the promotional pictures, you don't see the green as much as you do the blue with the PS5.
Okay.
Which annoys me. I want that green. I love green.
I like how they're sticking with their green. Their identity.
Yeah, I actually really like the way this looks. The Xbox. I'm really proud of how
Good. Jay, do you mind if we the next one's really quick, to be honest? But I guess this stems from our confused conversation we had about smart delivery.
Yeah, trying to understand this a bit better.
Yeah, so Xbox have made another post. They've put it out there to try and clear up any problems with understanding smart delivery. But here I'm gonna summarize for everyone listening, Jay. Okay, smart delivery equals anytime you play any game on either any console, Xbox console, you'll be playing the best version of that game. You don't have to worry about anything.
I don't think that's correct.
It's all in the backside. You don't have to click any specific button. Smart delivery is you play the best version of the game on the console you're playing. Now, what Jay's now about to say is,
Nick, I think you might have worded that slightly weird, but I'll give it to you.
What? And let me explain. Okay,
yes,
let's go with Cyberpunk 2077 because I think it's a great example.
Yeah, great example, definitely.
If you can buy it day one and play it on Xbox One, Xbox One S, and Xbox One X. Okay, This is where the names are stupid.
I hate the name.
Now. What the day one this Xbox Series X comes out, next generation, you can play the best version of Cyberpunk on that console. Now, this this is how we're gonna categorize it, Jay. This version is not touched by developers. The Xbox Series X is designed so that it plays games the best way possible in terms of definition, frame rate, and loading times. It is designed so it improves those things without needing developers to get in touch with it. Okay, now, there will be a update / patch thing, which the developers will go and make a Series X version. So that will require development time. When that is released, every time you play Cyberpunk on the Xbox Series X, you'll be playing that version. It's all in the back. You won't see any of it. Probably. I hope so. Is there any, Jay, questions from the audience?
Yeah, I think not necessarily a question, but maybe like a correction or maybe like a different way of saying it.
Go
think
on.
that I watched a video on IGN a few hours ago of them describing it, and I think what an easy way of describing it is, I think they did an example with Gears 5. Like if you have Gears 5 on Xbox One, and then you'll only play it on that console to the ability of that console, right? But let's say you wanted to play it on Xbox Series X, and then you go play it on Xbox Series X, the game will update, and then it'll be the best version of it on that console. Which I guess is pretty much exactly what you said, but some way in my mind, the paths were slightly different.
I don't think there'll be an update though, right? It'll just be installed on that console, but it'll play better.
What I mean is, like, I feel like, let's say Gears 5 was 60 gig on Xbox One.
Yeah.
It'll be 70 gig on Series X because that extra 10 gig is what it needs to be able to be powered up or upgraded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. I don't know too much about whether the games. Let's say you had previously bought Gears 5 for Xbox One, and then you went to go buy an Xbox Series X. You won't then necessarily get Gears 5 for free.
You absolutely will. That is part of smart delivery. You
that
will.
Is part of it. Okay.
You will get.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was
because
I only really heard that about Cyberpunk, but I wasn't sure if that was true for every smart delivery game.
Sure. So, any game you buy on the Xbox One, period, will play on the Series X to a slightly better degree.
The ability to upgrade. There's a list on IGN, I think, that shows you every game that's available at launch that's available to upgrade.
Well, here's the thing. So it will play better on Series X slightly with no upgrade. But yes, you're right, Jay.
Get the upgrade, it will then be a hell of a lot better.
Correct. Exactly that. Yeah. Cool.
Which is good. I'm glad. Whether that list will be like a similar list to the backwards compatibility list, it will sort of get upgraded or updated, over time, over the year or so.
Oh, what you think they're gonna?
I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they. It'd be good if they did, but I don't think they will. I think that would cost too much money.
Yeah, and also to be fair, Jay, they're saying that when you play these really old games on Series X, they're going to run the best versions ever, essentially.
Yeah, because some games don't lend themselves to being upgraded unless the actual company who made the game go back and digitally HD everything.
Yeah,
it takes a long time to do.
But I'm pretty sure that Xbox is saying that the Series X will do a lot of that work itself for the old games, if that makes sense.
Maybe on it'll probably correct load times will probably be the biggest thing. I think the game will still look the same, but I think maybe the frame rate will be better.
Frame rate
will be better, and the load times will be better. I think that's the main change. I don't think the actual look of the game will be too much different.
I agree.
So you can't do that just with playing something on a slightly better thing. I don't think that's how that works.
I agree, but I can tell you already that I'm definitely confident that Xbox One reduces load times already for original Xbox games.
That's probably the thing I'm most excited about is load times. If I can load up a game and be playing the game within 20 seconds, I'm all in.
Mate,
I'll tell you what, that's the biggest problem with Destiny right now. Do you know how long it takes for me to get in game?
Oh, dude.
Like a good 3 or 4 minutes. No joke. I have to sit there for so long.
Mate, I'm the same with Odyssey, mate.
God.
I have to click on the game, then press A, then press continue. It's like 5 minutes before I get in the game.
Tell you what, though, Death Stranding, I was in the game in less than 30 seconds. Like from me pressing the button to play it to it then loading in, like the game actually having loaded, 30 seconds. It's insane.
That's
That's
real
like the
good.
quickest I've ever got into a game. Like, you know how before I get, like, with Borderlands especially, it's a very long one. There's like all the names of all like the people who make the game or whatever, and that
Yeah,
takes like a minute just to go through those, and then you've got the loading times.
yeah.
Like with Death Stranding, those names you can actually skip past them like super quick.
Okay.
Whereas a lot of games don't let you do that. They don't let you skip past the names of the people who have published it or whatever.
You're right, Jay. Load times for some whatever reason have become a bigger bane than ever
Dude, they're going to be
in the
so
last couple of
important.
years. So to get rid of them will be vital moving
Load
forward.
times is definitely, I think, the biggest thing you could say about next gen right now.
Yeah, I
It's the
agree.
hallmark. It's the
I'm
thing that should be looked at the most, I think.
I'm more
Obviously,
excited
graphics
about
too,
no
but
load times than
yeah.
4K.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I'd rather every game for the next 2 or 3 years come out at 1080 max, but if they loaded within 2 to 3 seconds, I'd be happy with that.
Me, you
Like,
both.
I don't need a game to look better. I just need it to run better.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't matter.
Exactly.
The games look good enough as they are. They just need to. If 1080 is good
Exactly.
enough, we don't need 4K.
They all look beautiful.
Yeah, they look great.
Jay, do you mind if we talk about your Spider-Man news now? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
go for it. Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
we talked about we weren't sure whether Spider-Man Miles Morales was going to be a sequel or a standalone thing, but it's actually been confirmed that it's going to be a standalone. We don't know.
Correct.
I don't think we know too much about whether how big the game's going to be, but the fact
So
that it's a standalone, I think. So what they said was it's going to be running from the base game. So I think it is more of an expansion. I think the actual term they coined it as an expandalone, because it's actually been done before. The Uncharted Lost Legacy was the same thing. It
yeah,
was an expansion, but as long as you had the previous game to play it, you could still play it.
so yeah, this is coming from a quote from Insomniac. They made a statement about it.
Yeah,
Jason Schreier then tweeted saying that from his sources
yeah,
that I believe that Miles Morales is essentially the similar scope to the Lost Legacy, which is a
yeah,
standalone game, but it's a it's a 30 quid game or a 25 quid game. It is not a fully fledged
yeah. So
AAA game.
I don't know if you have to buy this separately. What I mean is, I don't know if you have to, like, if you've got this on physical, whether you'd have to get a disc with it at the same time, or whether you could literally just buy the expansion, and as long as you had the base game, you could then play it as an expansion. I think that's probably
Interesting point,
what it
Jay.
means. But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, I'd like that, but you still have to pay, whatever price it was, like £30. I mean, what kind of price would you think this would be? About £30, right? Like half,
Max.
like 60 is obviously like between 50 and 60 is what you usually pay.
I've got to be honest, Jay. I pay 50 for my new games.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like day one.
Yeah. Well, I got Last of Us Part 2 for 50.
I was trying to think, yeah, because I feel like I always hear Americans saying that they have to pay $60, but obviously it's different for UK, isn't it? I don't think I've actually bought a base game at full price in years.
They're not to get too much in the weeds here, as I keep saying, but their $60 is actually less than our 50 quid, if that makes any sense,
Yeah, that's
Jay.
odd. That's very odd.
So they should actually, if we adjusted for inflation, they should be paying about $65, $70. That's
Oh,
our
it
50
really
quid.
is. $60 is £47.81 sterling. Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Thing is, though, that's very recent. Like the pound has gone down so much since bloody
Yeah,
quarantine.
exactly.
My
Exactly.
God.
So
Hang
yeah,
on,
so they're
let me. It's at 0.79 and it was at 0.83 pounds sterling for every. Wow, that's gone down a lot. I'll have to check how long. Oh man, that's good. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's
yeah,
pretty
so
insane.
they're so they moan about their $60 price
Yeah,
tag.
they
They're
shouldn't
actually
do because
paying
they're actually getting it cheaper. Yeah, they are.
correct. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay.
Yeah. So our 50 quid. Jay, when did ours go up to 50? Because they used to be 40 in the PS2 days, right? Was it 50 when 360 and PS3 came out? Pretty much that they were
Yeah.
50 quid
100%.
brand new. And they've stayed that way, which is good, but I've forgotten what we're talking about now. Yeah, 30 quid, I would say max, mate, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on
yeah,
that?
I'm hoping somewhere around there. That sounds good enough for me.
My concern, Jay, is look. Let me be very clear about this, Jay. There is no way this would have been a full sequel after 2 years after Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, I guess
No
I was probably getting
way.
a bit too hopeful there, wasn't I?
No, but
Thing is,
you just want the sequel. It's
I made a
understandable.
good point about them already having the base game, so literally all they had to do was just up-res everything and then include the stuff they want to include and get rid of stuff they didn't want to have in there, right? They literally
Yeah,
just had to scrape, like, just swipe everything they didn't need and put everything they did want back in the same map, essentially. If that's going
and
to
if
be the game, but I don't know if it will be. I imagine it will be.
And let's assume, Jay, that there are small differences in this Miles Morales expansion standalone thing, right?
Yeah.
This can only be good for the sequel because it means that their sequel is too ambitious. That look, the sequel isn't going to come out for 3 to 4 years, so have this in the meantime because the sequel is going to be that much better
So
than the
is the
original.
sequel coming out 2022 or 2024?
2023, I
Right,
reckon.
okay. Yeah, I
I
reckon
reckon
probably. I reckon summer 2023.
that'd be great summer game. Great summer game.
Yeah. Do you know what's good about the Spider-Man game? That's coming out next year, right? Or is it end of this year?
Well, as far as we know, 2020, so hopefully launch day of PS5.
I was gonna say it's gonna be. Yeah. The new Spider-Verse film I think is in production now, and it's not coming out until 2022. So I reckon if they had Spider-Verse coming out and then the new Spider-Man the next year after that, that'd probably be pretty good timing, wouldn't it?
It would. It would.
Yeah, that'd be a good time frame. So they'll just be a course of about 2 or 3 years now where we don't get anything.
So Jay, when this comes out, will there? Are you
Oh, I just had a
concerned?
thought. Go on.
Are you concerned that it may not be different enough? May you get
I don't
bored of
know.
it?
They could literally do anything they wanted with the Spider-Man game. I think I'd probably be happy.
Okay.
The only thing I'd be annoyed at is if there's certain characters that are in it, just ones that I don't like. But again, that's just my personal preference.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, if there was any Captain Marvel, if there was any Kamala Khan, if there was any, I mean, if they put Spider-Gwen in this, I'll be very happy. But I
Okay.
don't know if they're going to do the whole different dimension thing because that might be a bit too far. It's not definitely not too far fetched for Spider-Man because it's obviously a real thing. But whether it's too much for this PS4 Spider-Man,
Yeah. Too soon.
they seem to be fairly grounded when it comes to their villain and hero origins
Yeah.
in comparison to what is actually possible and viable in the comics. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got some pretty good ideas about who will be in it though.
Okay. Good.
I
Good.
just had a thought actually. Do you reckon they'd have small, very very small DLC for this game?
No, mate. I think this is just to appease the fans while they make the sequel, which will have DLC.
Okay.
I think when you start making DLC for this size of a game, people would then go, why didn't you just put this in this game? Because this game's already tiny, compared to the first game, for example. Some people might say.
Yeah. Then at that point, the end of the DLC would probably be about the same as a whole game in itself anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Jay, are you worried about how quick you're going to be able to play this? Because if it is Lost Legacy,
Very soon, isn't it?
you're going to be you could very easily blitz this in 2 days, I reckon.
No, I think it'd probably be.
Not 100%. Not 100%.
Yeah, whether you have to play it a few times through. Because there's probably a new game plus trophy, so.
Or they'll
I
put
don't
one
know.
in.
I'm not too worried about the speed of it, honestly. I could finish it in a day and I'd probably still be happy.
Okay.
I doubt that though. I think it'll probably be a few. It'll be a weekend or 2 weekends in a row.
No, yeah, and you might play it twice and get all the trophies. So no, don't. I'm not saying that you'll be done. I'm just saying that I think you if you want to, you could be done with it in 2 days. But I'm sure you won't be.
Maybe, yeah. I'll have to wait and see
I
how
got to say,
long this
Jay,
thing is.
thinking about the PS5 launch now and the launch lineup, I really want that conference where we know all the games coming out at launch for each console to make a decision. And I'm also thinking that Ratchet and Clank game is really making me want to buy a PS5 now.
Oh wow, yeah, really?
Yeah, man, it really is. I love Ratchet and Clank, and it's such a solid launch, near launch game to have.
Do you remember that Scarlet Nexus game, the anime looking one that you didn't like the look of?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Xbox exclusive, so that's actually made me a little bit more on that side as well.
Really?
Yeah, the trailer came out. Another trailer came out for it today or yesterday, and I watched it. I was like, oh, I forgot it was Xbox exclusive.
Damn,
So
son.
that's like made me a little bit like, ooh, I'm gonna probably be playing that pretty quick.
So this is interesting, Jay, because this might be the first generation where not only have indies got the showcase at these massive conferences, but they might also convince people to buy a console because of how many exclusive
Honestly,
indies they have.
exclusive is so big nowadays. They really are.
That's interesting because, like,
So
now I'm
we'll talk
thinking of
about
that
that in a bit.
Kena game. Or is it? Yeah, you're saying Kena, aren't you?
Kena, one of those, yeah.
I'm now thinking that I want that game, so maybe I should get a PS5.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Okay. I
So
think
he's
you're
like,
probably leaning more
really?
towards the PS5 just for the Horizon stuff, right?
Yeah, that is the deal breaker for me, mate. I've got to say, but I don't think Horizon
But
2
then
is
you've got
coming anytime soon.
Valhalla too, but I guess you can. Well, you will be able to play Valhalla on PlayStation.
You will, but I've got them all on
Yeah,
Xbox.
me too. I'm loyal for my Assassin's Creed and my Xbox.
Listen, mate, if they do release a digital version of the Xbox and they're both 400 quid. Oh, well, should we talk about that, Jay? We had a call earlier, rumored price for the PS5. Do you
Yeah,
want to
someone screenshotted or supposedly in quotes screenshotted that the one of the European versions of Amazon had the prices for the PlayStation 5 had come up and then been taken out pretty quickly, but someone managed to get a screenshot in quotes, whether this is all made up or true or whatever, we don't know. But the digital version was €400 and the non-digital version was €500, which is about what we thought, I think, right?
Yeah, we
We
agreed
were
that
saying
that's
how that there's
probably
probably a
400
flat
quid.
rate, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's going to be
100%.
£400, $400, and then €400. It'll be all the same number. It'll just be they won't account for different, versions of
Well, if
currency
they
or whatever.
do, it's difficult because of the economic situation. But if they do, I think it'll only be like $50 more, maybe, rather than
I don't.
100.
Maybe it might not even be that. It might even be like 15 or 20, which is really ridiculous.
Maybe.
But I doubt they would do that actually, because they'd want to be able to get more money out of people. So
True. And we
you
were
know,
both pleasantly surprised by how low I think that digital version was going to
if the
be.
digital version, we were saying before about we were hoping there wasn't going to be a decrease in quality of it. The
Mm.
power it has. I imagine it'll still have the same power. Just one will have a hard drive and one won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And like
if they're
Jay
both
said,
£400, then I'll be more than happy because I've put enough aside for them both to be 500 each. So even if they
yeah.
were 500, I'd still be good because that's how much I've got, kept to the side just in case.
When I've never bought a new console, Jay, at launch, so will they come with a controller?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
actually, my special edition PS4 that I got, the 20-year anniversary thing or whatever,
Didn't.
PlayStation, it came with two controllers.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate.
exactly. And it was actually it only cost me 200 quid or
Mate,
250.
you got a bargain
250 for
there.
a console with I want to say it came with a game and two controllers.
You got a bargain there.
This was brand new too. This wasn't even pre-owned or anything. It's insane.
Yeah, and like Jay said last week, no disk drive could also mean minimizing any risk of the console breaking. So
So there's
really,
much less chance of it breaking, overheating, any other problems that come with disk drives.
exactly, people are buying more digital games. It
Yeah.
could be slightly more powerful because there's no disk drive. So it will be interesting to see how much these digital editions sell as well.
I want to say the digital purchases versus physical is like 80-20.
I don't know if it's that. I know that there was more Borderlands 3 digital copies bought than physical.
Here we go. 83%.
Digital.
Yeah, in 2018, a record 83% of all computer and video games were sold in digital form, meaning that once the game is downloaded, yeah. So it's only 17%.
That is crazy.
So yeah, 83% physical, 17% physical in 2018. So it might even be more of a dip
83%
now.
digital.
Yeah, 83 digital, 17 physical. That was 2 years ago.
I had no idea it was that bad.
It's probably like 85-15 now. It might even be more.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, I know it was around the 80 mark. I think I remember hearing in 2016 it was 80, so I reckon it goes up slowly.
Everyone listening, I just want to let you guys know, I told Jay earlier that I am, after I get Last of Us Part 2, I think that is going to be my last ever physical game I buy. I'm going to go digital.
Here we go. I've actually got the stats here. So it was 20 physical. No, it was 80 physical, 20 digital in 2009. So it's
Wow.
a complete opposite way.
10 years ago. Or
10 or
years
11 years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually like a pretty steady decrease. So it's 70% in 2010, For physical, 65, 54, 46, 39, 31, 26, 21, 17.
I think a lot of that is
Wow.
PT
Wow,
driving
that's
that.
so insane. Yeah, I imagine
Yeah,
a lot of that probably is PC actually, but I reckon a good chunk of it is the.
yeah, it's starting to be console now. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think Last of Us Part 2 will be my last physical game I buy, and I'm going to go all digital because, as
If I
Jay says,
do,
it's only a matter of time, really.
oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to like say get with the times because that's like a really arrogant way of, my opinion. But the reason why I buy, we were talking about it earlier. The reason why I buy digital is just because it's so much easier. It's just so much more convenient.
Mm,
There's much less that can go wrong. Like you snap a disc, that's it. You got to buy the game again.
it's true.
But you
It's
can't. I
true.
mean, the only way you're going to break your game if you have it downloaded digitally is if you break the whole console.
And
There's
then
a
you're
lot.
crying anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot less. It's less likely for that to happen than breaking a disc. A disc a lot easier to break.
Defo.
Yeah.
Last news story of the day, Jay. Fairly big one. Well, there was a leak of a new Star Wars game. EA announced it like a day later, so hopefully we'll
Was
see
it a
some more.
leak?
Yeah, it was a leak, and then
No,
they released a trailer because of the leak.
I don't think I didn't see it as a leak. I saw it as like when I saw it, I thought, oh, this is official. And then the post I saw said trailer coming tomorrow.
No, yeah. So it got leaked, and then they said that there'll be a trailer tomorrow.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So
Any
maybe this game wasn't supposed to be announced for another couple of weeks yet then.
Correct, until their EA conference or whatever they're doing this year for E3. So
Okay.
this came out of nowhere, really.
I mean,
And
I was kind of expecting something like this.
we've got
It's
a
been
brand new Star Wars game coming out.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's, oh, it actually has a single player story.
Before you get too excited, Jay, let's break it down for the people. Let's break
Yeah,
it down
go
for the
for it.
people. So, Star Wars Squadrons. It looks like it's mainly space combat game.
I think it
It's
all is.
from Motive. They helped do the campaign on Battlefront 2, I believe.
Hmm.
And it's about time we got some more Star Wars games.
And something unique too.
Yeah, fairly. Like Battlefront 2's got dogfights, space dogfights, but this
It
we
has, but
haven't
this is solely it, isn't it? They've
exactly
obviously, I mean, you wouldn't release a game that was all about space fights unless they had improved it significantly. Like if
correct.
this is close to what's in Battlefront 2, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I want to see something different.
So
I want to
Star
see some
Wars
innovation.
exactly. Star Wars Squadrons, this is the closest thing we've probably got since Rogue Squadron and Rogue Squadron 3. So this is essentially from their press or whatever. There's a trailer out now. There's a single player story, campaign I should say, with a couple of customizable people. Essentially it's 5v5. It
Overwatch.
happens after Return of the Jedi, before Force Awakens, and it's first person in the cockpit, which is interesting, which is already a sign that it's
I
different.
imagine you should be able to change that.
It says first person multiplayer, so I just don't know, Jay. I just don't
Honestly,
know.
if it is first person, that kind of makes me like it even more because
That's
it makes it
different, isn't
makes it
it?
feel more real. Like when you've got the only way you should really be looking outside of the ship is through the cockpit because if they had like an R2 on the back, it would make
Sure.
more sense to be able to look out maybe as like a UAV type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fact that I now know that with the first person is actually making me like it even more. Wow.
It's definitely interesting. So a
Because like
couple of
your view is going to be so skewed, right? You're only going to be able to see so much. In a third
exactly
person, you've got such a wider vision, you know.
view. Yeah, exactly right, mate.
Wow,
And it'll be like you're in
yeah.
the cockpit. I think it'll be really cool.
It'll make it challenging too. It'll make it like it won't be too easy. I feel like the battles in Battlefront 2 are easy because they're in third person,
They are
but it's a
quite
lot easier
easy.
to actually kill people in third person, I imagine, than it would be looking through the cockpit.
Defo.
You can just see so much more around you. It actually makes it that it almost gives you like a sense of danger. Like you're really like I imagine there'd be a respawn system. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there probably have to be, but whether it's quite no, they'd have to be a respawn system.
Well, imagine Jay, if like part of the gameplay is like pressing the buttons in your cockpit to cool down like an engine fire or something like that. That'd be so cool.
Oh, dude, you blow my mind. They do that in World of Warships. You ever played that?
I haven't.
So you know World of Tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's World of Warships, World of Tanks, and I think World of Airplanes as well, but I forget what that was called.
Okay.
And the World of Warships has a thing in it where you can, if your ship becomes on fire, you can then press a thing and it puts out the fire, essentially, right?
Sure.
So I imagine they'll probably have a similar type of situation to that. Maybe there's like an engine failure, and you have to maybe even go back to like the main ship to get it like repaired, and it takes time, and you've actually like got to do like maybe like a little mini game to fix it yourself. Or maybe like you have abilities for your character that you use, and there's like different classes of fighters.
That'd be so cool.
And also depending on what ship you have, so maybe you have like an R2 in one, and maybe like a different type of droid in another one, and maybe like you have. Oh man, you just blow my mind. I'm thinking of like all different possibilities things that can happen.
This is like, the stuff we need.
I'm looking for. I'm hoping they're going to have like RPG elements, right? Where you have like a loadout.
That you will.
Or maybe
you will.
Like a Battlefront 2 or like a Call of Duty where you have different loadouts that have different weapons or maybe different abilities on your ship, and maybe even different. You could have maybe up to 3 different versions of a class for every ship that you had. So maybe a ship could have 3 different types of weapons that did like different projectiles and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how I'm thinking of so many things right now.
Jay, couple points that we really need to raise.
Really soon too.
Coming out October 2nd this year, so it probably will be a cross-generation game.
Oh, 100%.
And probably the most important point here, Jay, is 30 quid. So it is not
a AAA game. Yeah.
So
that
we're
makes
looking
me think that the campaign is going to be very short.
Very, very short. Very short.
And then it's going to be primarily a multiplayer game.
Exactly right, Jay. Exactly right.
That does kind of worry me a little bit that they might not have put as much time into it as they could have done. I reckon they might make the same mistake they did with Battlefront 2.
Agreed.
It's worried me. A game that is usually got this big of a name on it that comes out at that price makes me think that the game isn't done yet and that they're going to add on to it over the next 2 or 3 years.
Or it could mean that EA have learned their lesson and they know it's not up to 50 quid quality, so that's why they're releasing it at 30 quid.
Oh yeah, true. Maybe what they'll do is they'll just like slowly release out additions to like maybe add new ships, add new characters, add new maps, like places to fight in space or different planets or whatever. And that will then make up the extra £20 price difference eventually. Sure. Right?
It will be interesting to see if they support this like they are Battlefront 2. It will be interesting, but
I want to see that roadmap so bad.
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting to see that we're getting another, Space Squadron Star Wars game, I guess.
Thing is, this game has so much potential.
So yeah, more reveals later this month, I believe. So we'll keep an eye out.
4 p.m. PDT gameplay reveal.
Oh, snap!
So midnight tomorrow. So
God,
technically Friday morning.
Sure.
Yeah, Friday morning is when they're doing the gameplay reveal. So I'll probably watch that the morning of Saturday or the morning of Friday. I'll watch the whole stream, or I'll probably watch the 18-minute gameplay video, or whatever they'll do. And hopefully that'll shed a lot more light on what this game's going to be.
Yeah, so me and Jay will probably talk about it on next week's show.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, but it's cool. It's
interesting to see more. The day that thingy comes up for you, so you'll be on a bit more of a different priority, I imagine.
Yes, I will, my friend. I will.
Yeah. Yes.
Jay, we've done with the news. Time to wash our hands with that filth. It's time for a debate. Jay, would you like to pick this week's debate? We have a choice of 2. Would you like to pick which one? Because I think we should just do one.
Exclusive is good because it kind of moves into what we've already been talking about, right?
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put this down, Jay.
I'm actually a bit confused about what you meant by this. Explain it to me. I'm intrigued.
So let me bring everyone back a little. A few years ago, E3, Rise of the Tomb Raider got announced, and it looked phenomenal. Okay, Xbox's stage show. Now, shortly after, there was a bit of confusion, but essentially it got confirmed that it would be, I think it was a 1-year timed exclusive. Everyone hated this. They were like, what's the point? Xbox were using it as one of its main portfolio games, or games in their portfolio, even though it wasn't really, because it was only there for a year. And ever since then, Xbox got a little bit of slack for some timed exclusive, right? Games such as Inside and some other games that I can't be bothered to list. Now, I just wanted to bring up this debate, Jay, because timed exclusives have not suddenly, but over the years, they've become really normal and nobody talks about them. And I find it really, really strange because now, anytime anyone says exclusive, if it's not first party, I'm literally thinking, well, when is it going to come to the other platforms? And I
Yeah,
don't feel like anybody else is thinking this. I'll mention some games. Hellblade originally was a PS4 exclusive. I know that Xbox now own that studio, but when it first came to Xbox, I was like, really? As I said, Inside No Man's Sky is now on Xbox. That was an exclusive or timed exclusive. Bioshock, going all the way back to Bioshock, was an exclusive on Xbox 360, I think. Mass Effect was. So it has existed before, but it seems to me that a lot of exclusives timed now and nobody talks about this. And the thing that irritates me is that now every single game, as I say, that is announced as an exclusive, including these indie games that we've seen at both these recent conferences, I'm thinking, yeah, but you'll probably come to the other platform because everything else does. Another example, that swimming game. Oh no, one that looks like Journey. Oh, is it Abyss? What's his name?
I don't know. I
Mm,
actually have a. Oh, okay.
Abzu. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts, Jay?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm annoyed by it in any way. Trying to think why it would affect me. I guess because I have both consoles, it obviously doesn't affect me as much as if I just had the one and could only afford the one. I feel like if I was a person who only had an Xbox and there was a timed exclusive on PlayStation, I'd feel annoyed that I couldn't play it straight away. But the fact that it was timed would make me more excited about it, or excited about it overall, because it would be eventually coming to me, right? Versus
Mm-hmm.
just a normal exclusive that will only ever stay on that one.
Well, here's the problem I find, Jay, is that
That's the upside.
they never announce they are timed, and they suddenly just arrive on the other platforms one day.
Yeah, I feel like they probably potentially are announced, but probably not to the public necessarily.
Yeah,
I think
internally they know. Yeah.
I mean, maybe there might even be some people online who do know. It's just not public knowledge, maybe straight away, but maybe eventually. Because I have a list here of PS5 exclusives that are timed,
Already.
confirmed timed, yeah, and ones that are unconfirmed, which actually is pretty interesting.
And by the way, PlayStation got no flack for this, which I'm confused about. But go
So
on. What are the games?
unconfirmed is Deathloop and Ghostwire, right?
Right. Right.
So I reckon both. I reckon Ghostwire seems more like a PS5 game to me, and Deathloop seems like more of an Xbox game to me. So I think both of those might even be timed eventually.
Yeah,
I
and
have
they're
a
both
feeling
from
they'll be timed.
Bethesda, so it would be strange for
Oh,
them to be
100%.
exclusive.
They'll
Yeah.
definitely be timed then, because I mean, yeah, Bethesda is just all about Xbox. Godfall surprised me. Is apparently is a timed
Interesting.
because that was announced. I think when it first came out. Well, actually, when it first announced it, they said it was definitely coming to PS5.
PS5.
They didn't say it was definitely coming to Xbox at the time. So obviously they've not necessarily changed their mind. They've just said to the public that we've actually had it, this way the whole time. That it will definitely be for both, just one before the other. I think that
Yeah,
might be just for the fact that it's a lot easier to maintain a multiplayer game like that on one console and improve on it more than to do it on both.
could be
I,
right.
I reckon for that game specifically, it makes more sense to do it just on one first, just so they can know how to then bring it to the next one safely rather than unsafely.
I also think part of it, Jay, is that PlayStation and Xbox are dire for that game's image to be part of their launch console identity, and they'll do
Yeah,
whatever it takes to be part of that, including timed exclusivity. I think that's part of it.
yeah. When I look at Godfall now, all I think is PlayStation. I don't think about
Exactly.
Xbox. But the more I've seen, actually watched more of it recently, it definitely looks like the kind of game that would,
Xbox would
would
have.
be free, like almost like a Warframe type situation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I reckon this game will be free in about 2 or 3 years. It'll either do really, really well and it won't be free, or it'll do kind of okay and it'll be free in about 2 or 3 years.
yeah.
And then they'll have a load of bloody microtransactions and like a store where you can buy the next best weapon, like Fortnite or whatever. I'm hoping it won't come to that, but we'll have to wait and see. And then there's just like a bunch of indie ones on there, like Bug Snacks, Goodbye Volcano High,
Oh,
Jet,
nice.
Kenna. Kenna's going to be on both.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That was one of the games that was going to convince me to buy a PS5.
Little Devil Inside, Oddworld, Project Athia, Solar Ash, and Stray. They're all timed.
Amazing.
And then I
Amazing.
guess multi-platform titles: GTA 5, Hitman 3, NBA, obviously, Pragmata, and then Resident Evil Village. They're all multi-title.
So actually, the majority of that conference was third party, if anything.
Honestly, it really was.
And PlayStation made it all out to be their own exclusives
So
and or
the only ones from that whole list of PlayStation 5 event is the Astro Playroom, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon, Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, and Sackboy. They're the only fully exclusive titles.
I feel like we've uncovered a great secret here, Jay.
About a little less than a third are all exclusive. The rest of them are either timed, unconfirmed, or definite multi-platform.
Mate.
Yeah, that's a bit of a hidden gem right there, looks like.
Jay, we've uncovered this is why I wanted to raise this point, and you've done a brilliant job at explaining it. This should be front page gaming news.
I mean, this news was on June 12th, so the same day, I imagine, or like a few hours after it came out. So I reckon the knowledge was there, but it didn't get shown that well.
Well,
like this article I'm looking at only has 10 comments on it. You know, it doesn't look like it got a lot of. You know, only has a couple of votes. Yeah.
I can understand people were more interested about the console look and the games they showed. I understand, but this is big news because this means that over half the games they showed should not be tied just to the PlayStation 5.
I'll have to count actually.
And also, we don't know how long these times exclusives are. So, yeah, are you just counting?
24 games overall, and 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. So yeah, 7 of them are fully exclusive. The rest are not.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please write in with your thoughts on this topic at contact@thegameopinion.co.uk. You can reach out on any other kind of media platform if you so desire also. I'd love to hear people's opinions on this because I think this is a game changer for some people personally.
Whether or not timed exclusives are a bad thing and
they're
why
good,
nobody
they're
talks
bad.
about them.
Yeah.
I guess nobody talks. I mean, I feel like nobody talks about them just because I feel like we get a benefit from time exclusive, right? Like I said before, if you've only got the one console, then you know your time will come, right?
Well, here's the problem. The problem I had, Jay, when I really started getting annoyed was that I bought a PlayStation and then half the games were going to Xbox anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't think about
that. But it's fine because PlayStation has enough good games, amazing games anyway. But
thing is, would if you had known that, would you have bought the PS4?
I would have, yeah, because I would have had to play.
I guess in the end, then it didn't really matter, right?
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But I did find it annoying. A bit like how almost every PS4 game I've played has now become a free PS Plus game, but let's not go there.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so many games that I've bought bloody full price are bloody free now.
Well, what did we buy Battlefront 2 right before it became free? Like, you just never know, do you?
You never know. You just got to stick around for a bit and just try your luck.
And also, Jay, like, even if you bought it 2 years ago, you still look at it and think, oh, I could have got it for free, even though, well, actually, I completed it 2 years ago. So
I was going to say, yeah, you already had your fun, so you might.
Yeah, exactly.
That money basically paid for an earlier viewing or an earlier playing of the fun that you would have had 2 years later anyway.
Exactly.
Paid for the time.
Teaser for next week. Next week's debate will, I think, comes from Jay, but we both talked about it, I think, but it's just going to be about people's loyalties to certain things in the games industry. Jay, it's an exciting time now in this part of the show because you
I'm excited about this.
Get to guess whose review. Okay, how you feeling, mate? You feeling ready? You feeling prepped? You feeling good?
I mean, as much as I can be. Not until I hear anything. I don't know.
Right, so Jay, I think we're 1-1, aren't we, at the moment? 1-1? Me and you?
Are we scoring it, are we?
Hell yeah.
I didn't get it last time. I was one game off. So I guess you could say it one's
No,
like 0,
I think
1.
I gave it. I think I gave it to you because it was the
I
first
said
go.
Mass Effect. Yeah, okay, you're giving it to me. Fine. 1-1. We'll say 1-1.
From now on, though, we're playing hardcore.
Okay.
Okay, so are you ready, Jay?
Just means I'm probably going to lose this one, isn't it? Here we go.
The Goldilocks gamer himself. Okay. Oh, I should probably explain this for everyone who hasn't played before, listening at home. Yeah, so this is the Guess Who's review. So me and or Jay, depending on the week, we alternate. We'll pick out a random review from a random media outlet from a random game, give 3 quotes, and one of us has got to guess the game.
Yes.
So this week's is Jay's turn. So I have the game, and he's got to guess it. So, quote number 1. Jay, this game's so good already, man.
It's really fun, yeah.
Quote number 1.
Oh, no.
La, 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 la. Okay, here we go. From the gothic art style and the vengeance-fueled story to the stationary camera clearly displaying the blood-splattering combat.
I think I might... So I get one guess, don't I?
One guess at each phase and then a few at the end.
I'm kind of worried that I might already have it.
Would you like me to repeat? Do you want to have a bit of a...
No, I think... Can I have my guess?
You may.
Is it Bloodborne?
It is not.
Oh, damn. Right, okay.
Moving on to quote 2.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, dear. The over-the-top, merciless portrayal of the combat fits in perfectly with the dark themes presented in the game, which makes it the strongest aspect of your quest. I'll repeat.
Yes, please.
The over-the-top, merciless portrayal of the combat fits in perfectly with the dark themes presented in the game, which makes it the strongest aspect of your quest.
Yeah, that's not helpful, I don't think. Oh, no. Okay.
So let's break it down, Jay. Let's break it down.
I don't think I even have a guess for that.
So
I mean, I'll have one just because I'm just thinking about I feel like the Gothic thing was a big clue from the first one. So I'm just thinking of Gothic games.
Don't think of Gothic games. It's Gothic art style, so it has Gothic elements. Focus more on quotes such as a vengeance-fueled story, blood-splattering combat, merciless portrayal of the combat, dark themes, and your quest.
Okay, right. I think I got it now.
I might have given it away, ladies and
No,
gentlemen.
I think technically you just repeated the same things of what I've already heard.
I did. I'm giving you clues with the thought
I'm kind of worried
process.
that you've gone a bit too obvious if that is the right thing. So can I have my guess?
You can.
Is it Dante's Inferno?
It is Dante's Inferno.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but you needed a bit of guidance.
I want to hear the third quote.
Okay, third quote. There are both holy and unholy meters to fill, which let you personalise your moves.
I would have got it from that. I feel like there potentially should be a scoring system depending on if you get it on the first, second, or third quote.
The game is evolving.
Because if you think about it, if you get it on the first quote, maybe you get 3 points. Get it on the second quote 2, and then on the third one 1. Then if you don't get it at all, 0.
I'm fine with that, and it actually matches up because
it does. Because I got it on the second quote, and you got it on the second quote last week.
Did I?
Yeah. Whereas I got it on the third first week. So if that's correct, you've got 2 points, and I've got 3, right?
2.
Because you got it on the second quote.
And you've got on the second quote. No, you got it on the third quote.
I got the third quote the first time, and second
you've
quote
got 3. Yeah, you've got 3, and I got 2.
I'm not saying this just to be ahead. I'm just saying this. It makes more sense because then it sort of makes.
But you're supposed to be ahead.
Higher, right? If you think about it, you've got more incentive to try and get it earlier than later.
Yeah, 100%.
It makes you try harder in the early stages. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, Jay's on 3, Nick's on 2.
Yes, but I have obviously had one more go at you than you. So.
Yeah, correct.
I already have next week's prepared, so yeah, I'll have to delete my old one and make a new one for the week after.
Okay, no worries. Well, Jay, we've kind of reached the end of the show here. Any words of advice slash what you're playing this week, I guess?
I mean, it was weird. I actually had a bit of an existential crisis, I guess you could call it. I was thinking to myself, do I want to play? Wow, brilliant! Do I want to play something a bit more like campaign driven? But then I just
Just to let everyone know, I'm distracting Jay by putting exclamation
yeah,
marks
a
in
hell
the
of a lot
doc.
of exclamation marks in the dock after Last of Us Part 2. Okay.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
I'll probably be playing more Destiny. I might even go back to Spider-Man just to finish it off, and then
oh god.
best case scenario, I play a bit more Horizon.
Yes, good
Like
answer.
best case scenario, but I very much doubt that. So we'll see.
Jay, is there any? There is, but is this the possible universe where you finish Horizon Zero Dawn before Horizon 2?
Oh god, I don't think I do actually.
Oh, that's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, I think I wasn't going to get Horizon 2 on launch anyway.
Well, okay, fair enough.
I'm probably not going to play it until next year, probably.
Well, it won't come out till next year, mate. Probably.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, like I won't be playing it straight away. I'll probably be playing it months, if not a year after it comes out.
Okay. Okay.
I don't really have too much of an incentive to play it because there's going to be too many things between then and now that I'd rather play. So,
Sure.
like,
Couple of questions for you,
Minecraft or whatever.
Jay. Because Battlefront 2 is now the game it is, does
Yes.
that decrease the likelihood of a Battlefront 3?
Oh, I think with Squadrons coming out, yes.
Okay.
I don't think we'll see Battlefront 3. I mean, we never saw Battlefront 3 with the initial
Originally.
two, so I
Oh.
don't think so. I think this is probably it. I
Okay.
think this game will probably die eventually soon, right? Because the multiplayer games usually have, like, ones this style usually have a time limit. They
Mm-hmm.
have so many years until they're like, right, we're done with this now. We're going to do something else. Like
Yeah.
the team that are keeping that game running will probably want to be getting onto something else at some point. They want to put more of their time into something else. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me if by the end of this year or the end of next year we'll see an announcement saying, right, the servers are down for this game now. Bye.
Sure.
Would not surprise me.
Well, I don't know if they'll bring the servers down, but I think they'll stop supporting it and updating
Oh
it.
yeah, I reckon that we'll probably see a support ending update within 6-7 months, and then an actual game ending update maybe in the next 16, 17 months.
Yeah, I think you could be right about that.
Yeah.
Second question. Now that we've both played Fallen Order, isn't it an absolute heartbreak that we're not getting a sequel for another 2-3 years minimum?
I mean, I guess it's a heartbreak I'm not getting a sequel to Spider-Man, but you know.
You will.
Well, I mean, I will, but what I mean is we know it's not coming for a little while, so...
Yeah, this does delay it a bit, you know.
The thing is, though, I had to wait for Final Fantasy VII for a millennia, so, you know...
True.
Had
Yeah,
to wait
Jay.
for Borderlands 3 for 8 years, 7 or 8 years, you know?
Yeah.
As long as
Jay,
you just forget about it and move on to the next thing, it'll be here before you know it, so...
Exactly that. Jay, we haven't really discussed, because nobody expected a standalone Spider-Man game in between these two games, right?
Did.
Do you think this is good or bad? Like, I feel that this game has a lot to live up to, and I feel that it might have been easier just to do the sequel.
No, I think what they've done is they've released this game to see how much they can improve before actually making the final product of the next sequel. They want to show off what I imagine they've probably used a lot of the PlayStation 5's mechanics and
You're right.
to improve this game, so that they can then use that knowledge to then improve even more on the sequel. So having gone from the first game to the second game would have been a much worse turnout than going from 1 to 1.5 to 2.
You're right.
Because they can then learn from mistakes that they would have made going from 1 to 2 rather than to 1 to 1.5 to 2. Any mistakes they make in this next game, they can then improve on in the next one.
Yeah, and like you
So
say,
it's a beta test,
there might
like
be
like a trial run.
they might
Good
be
thing.
using it as a bit of a tech demonstration or tech test. Yeah. Okay.
100%. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, the only reason you wouldn't is money, right? But if Insomniac Games have been bought up by PlayStation, your budget has just gone up.
100%.
So, and they probably trust you because that game, buddy, sold so well.
You're right, mate.
So, if they probably made their money back like 5 times over,
if not more.
If not more, so they've probably got enough money to make 2 standalone games if they wanted to.
It's so strange that Insomniac are now owned by Sony after so many years.
It makes sense though.
It does. It does.
Like, I've only ever thought of Insomniac as a PlayStation
studio.
Studio. It doesn't really make sense for Insomniac to be an Xbox one. It just doesn't.
Did you ever play Sunset Overdrive?
I have it, but never played it.
Real
I
fun
think I got
game,
that for
mate.
free on Xbox like years ago.
One of the most fun
Yeah,
Xbox
it's
One
annoying.
games.
It's one of those ones that I've always wanted to, but just never got around to. I'm not. I must have downloaded it 2 or 3 times to be like, well, I'm going to play this game, and then once it downloaded, I was like, not in the mood anymore.
Real fun.
Yeah, I'll get around to it eventually, probably. That's Insomniac, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Jay.
Yeah. Time has come, my friend.
I get to play The Last of Us.
So, when did the first one come out? 2017?
2013.
What? Why did I
Yeah.
think it was so much sooner than that?
They remastered it for PS4 in
That's
2014.
Yeah, you're right.
2014.
Jeez, that came out so long ago.
So here's the timeline. Uncharted 3 comes out, I think 2011, and then Last of Us comes out 2013. Troubles with the studio. Amy Hennig leaves. They have to finish Uncharted 4. That comes out 2016. They then have The Lost Legacy, which comes out, I think, 2018, which is like a standalone, Uncharted thing. Not double A quality, but smaller.
Yeah.
And then we finally get The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020. June 19th.
Again, I'm not too fussed. I'm probably never going to play this game, but I'm happy that you're happy.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to hear about it because I know that you're going to be excited about it. Honestly, I think I'm getting like as much satisfaction out of the game as I would do if I played it, but from you having played it rather than me.
Sure.
Like I think if I was in a different time, I probably would have been excited about this, but not right now. I'm good.
Well, I felt similar way for you when Final Fantasy VII Remake came out.
Yeah, it's definitely the kind of game I wouldn't ever see you play. 100% now. It doesn't make sense. Like you probably, I'm guessing in your head, you're probably saying, "Oh yeah, I probably would," But from like the outside looking in, you seem like the kind of person who would enjoy Last of Us, and I seem like the kind of person who enjoys Final Fantasy, but not the other way around.
That is true. It is true.
That's just kind of how I see it, like how I perceive it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
I'm just so excited, man.
Yeah, it's a good time. For gamers right now, it's a very good time. It's probably like the best time in a long time.
I agree.
Weirdly, it's very, selfish, I guess, but like right now, gamers are probably having some of the best time of their lives. They're actually able to stay at home and play and enjoy, rather than I guess some people do enjoy games more when they can play it so many hours a night, just because it's like something to look forward to. But now they can, not have to worry about that as much.
And also, when the games really start releasing, like Last of Us Part 2, like Cyberpunk, it will be a year to remember.
I guess you could say Last of Us Part 2 is probably the first game this year of like the most important part. Like right now, tomorrow or a couple of days from now is the beginning of the rest of,
the year.
Gaming history.
It sure is, my friend.
Yeah, gaming history starts on Friday, if you ask me.
And it, one of the truly sad things about being a gamer is that these people work on these games for years, if not at this point, sometimes 10 years. And we as gamers finish them in weekends.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that's the thing about that, though. It's like you can say the same thing about a chef, right? They'll train for years and then they'll spend hours making a dish, and then you can eat the dish within 10 minutes.
100%.
You enjoy it because of how much time went into it. So
it's true. And same things with films.
Yeah, it's all the same. It takes a long time to make something that good.
It does.
You wouldn't expect that level of greatness over a short amount of time.
It's true. So, just to let everyone know, here's the plan, everyone. Be getting it in the next...
Hopefully in the next 2 days.
Correct. And then we'll probably have to play it pretty much all day, every day, unless I'm working. I'll explain this to India. And
the fact that you had to do that is funny. I'm glad you did that, though. I'm guessing she understands.
Yeah, this hasn't happened since Red Dead 2. Like, she knows. Like, I'm like, honey, this happens once a year, if that. Like,
I mean, yeah, like once every 2 or 3 years, to be honest.
Exactly. And the only reason I'm not doing it for Cyberpunk is because that game's going to be 100 hours long, so there's no point.
Yeah,
but
you can definitely spread your time out with Cyberpunk, but when it comes to this, it requires a bit more focus.
Exactly. So yeah, I've explained the situation. She knows. She's making a little list of chores to do to keep herself busy. So okay. Like, yeah, it's going to be pretty it's going to be like I'm hoping to get in 12 hours both Saturday and Sunday. To be frank about it.
I feel like you probably do, between 10 and 12. That's what I usually hope for. With like a game that like Odyssey or Cyberpunk, I'm hoping to do between 10 and 12 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And I
Can
don't
get
know.
a bit much though if that goes on longer than a few days.
Definitely.
That's where my wiping out after Odyssey came from, because I did it like 11 days in a row. I did 10 hours every day, 11 days in a row.
Oh God.
That hurt. Hurt my head.
And I don't know the trophy list. The trophy list for Last of Us 1, as
Yeah,
everyone knows, is...
I'm guessing they haven't released that yet, have they?
I think they have, but I haven't looked. And the trophy list for Last of Us 1 is horrendous. So here's my plan. Horrendous, mate.
Okay.
You literally get like 2 trophies for finishing the game.
It is out. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm
So
looking at it now. Okay.
So here's the plan. First playthrough is completely organic. Nothing artificial involved. I'm going to play the game start to finish. Second
no
playthrough,
collectible looking or anything. Just play it and have fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then second playthrough will be collectibles. Maybe a third if the trophy list is 300% better than the first Last of Us.
Oh my
There is
God.
no multiplayer. So
This, I think.
okay, well, no more, please. I've waited long enough. Oh, broke my voice there. So thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah,
Jay, thanks. I think it was a good show. I hope you agree.
Yeah, no, I'm happy.
Good. We've
I'm
condensed
very
it.
glad that you talked about Squadron. Actually, it's made me like more excited about it now that I've talked about it. Honestly, I was very nonchalant about it. Like a few hours ago, I was like, "Yeah, this will be fine." But now that you've like said some things, I'm like, "Oh, this could be." My imagination started to go a bit wild, so I'm happy.
Good.
Please be good. We'll find out tomorrow. Well, technically 2 days from now whether it's good.
Yeah. See the gameplay stuff.
Yes.
I guess there's nothing.